You've heard that food on Kauai is great, but you want to make sure that you make it to the best restaurants Kauai has to offer. I'm Annie Elison. These are my go-to for best restaurants on the south side of Kauai. The best cheap places to eat, right? That seems to be something that does well on YouTube. None of these are cheap, but they are excellent. The first one is Merriman's. Now, I used to consider Merriman's the very best restaurant on Kauai. I don't know if I'd say that anymore, but it's definitely in the top 4 for the whole island. And Merriman's is a great restaurant for a lot of reasons. There is a Merriman's on all of the 4 main Hawaiian islands, and they're known for having only local ingredients. The 2 exceptions to that, they import their beef from the mainland and their wines. Everything else is coming from Hawaii. And it is what I would call a Hawaiian fusion cuisine. What is Hawaiian fusion? A lot of the restaurants I'm going to recommend are Hawaiian fusion. When they take things from the cultures in Hawaii, right, which are Asian, Portuguese, Hawaiian, Spanish, German. Now we also have Japanese in there, but Hawaiian fusion is when they take the favorite dishes from those cultures with the ingredients found in Hawaii in a modern twist. Merriman's was started by a man named Peter Merriman, who's a well-known chef in Hawaii, and he's really executed something great. If you go to Maui a lot or some of the other Hawaiian islands, you might have seen another restaurant that he does monkey pods, which is also great. But Merriman's is like their top tier fine dining restaurant. Merriman's has a menu that changes pretty frequently because they really are serving things that are locally sourced and fresh, right? So depending on the time of year and what's in season, the menu is going to change. The 2 menu items that are probably the most popular flagship menu items, if you could say, the macadamia nut crusted fresh catch. It's often mahi-mahi or ahi, but you're going to have some super fresh fish crusted in macadamia nuts. It's excellent. They're also famous for their Mai Tai. Everything on their menu really is great. So if you see something that you think you'll like, try it, order it. A couple years ago, I went and they had a ceviche appetizer, which we called poo-poos. And I love ceviche. I lived in South America for a year. I've been a ceviche fan for decades now. And it might have been the best ceviche I've ever had. So their menu changes a lot. When you see something you like, try it, and you're probably going to love it. Merriman's on Kauai is located in the Kukui'ula Shopping Center, is only open for dinner, and I highly recommend making reservations. In fact, if you walk by and you want to try to get in, definitely talk to the hostess and see what the options are. But if you want to eat dinner before 8 o'clock or some late time like that, you want to get reservations, you can make them online or you can call the restaurant. So another great restaurant, also in the Kukui'ula Shopping Center, is Eating House 1849. I love Eating House 1849. It's the new Roy Yamaguchi concept restaurant. Now, who's Roy Yamaguchi? Well, you might have heard of a restaurant called Roy's, which was initially on Oahu, and it did so well. It was franchised and populated in a lot of high-end coastal communities around the U.S. They were really famous for their molten lava cake, which was this dessert, but it had great seafood and other items. So Roy Yamaguchi himself has opened this new concept restaurant, 1849. And we've talked a little bit about Hawaiian fusion, and this is similar, right? The food served here represents the cultures that were in Hawaii at 1849. It's excellent. A great childhood friend of mine, Ray, when he comes to Kauai about once a year with his family, and the first thing they do, probably before they book their flight or get their place to stay, is they make reservations at Eating House. They love it. They have their go-to items, and it's a favorite. Eating House has a great menu. It does change, but not as frequently as some other places. All of the poo-poos or appetizers are great. For their main entree items, I definitely recommend the slow braised honey glazed short ribs. and the 1849 spicy ramen bowl. They're excellent. If you like the molten lava cake at Roy's, you're in luck. It's called the Roy Yamaguchi's Melted Hot Chocolate Souffle, but it's very similar, if not the same, to Roy's hot lava cake, and it's great. Another restaurant that is great is Kiawe Roots. Now, Kiawe Roots was started and owned by a local couple. And when they started, they were in a food truck. They first opened in the Kukui'ula Shopping Center. They moved locations during COVID and are now located in Kalaheo. And it's a pretty small restaurant, so making reservations is a good idea, but not totally necessary. One thing that's unique about Kiawe Roots is they are open for all 3 meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, they do close in between meals. Make sure you look at the hours online and you're there when you'll have enough time to order and eat what you want. One of the things that's very unique about Kiawe Roots is it has a gluten-free fryer, right? So you can have things like fried chicken and it's gluten-free. So if you're a gluten-free person, which I'm currently not, it is very difficult to find things like fried chicken. If you're gluten-free and coming to Kauai and want to have a great meal, this is definitely a place to try. But even if you're a gluten eater, you should check out Kiawe Roots. Try the items on the menu that look good to you. Some of my go-to menu items at Kiawe Roots is the wasabi fish. It's a wasabi pea crusted fish. Excellent. And the kalbi, which is a Korean-styled short rib. Super good. Anytime I recommend short ribs at a restaurant on Kauai, it means they're very good. Short ribs are loved by locals on Kauai, so restaurants often offer them. And so the ones that are good are really good. Japanese grandma. Now, Japanese grandma is technically on the west side of Kauai, not on the south side, but it's great and it's worth the drive. It's in Hanapepe, which most people only go to Hanapepe for Friday Night Art Walk, which I recommend as well. But Japanese grandma is great, and it's a really unique restaurant. It's actually, they have a gift shop and a restaurant. In fact, this blanket / Turkish towel, which you probably often see draped over my sofa, was purchased at Japanese grandma. Really cute Japanese inspired items in the gift shop that are really unique, things you don't see anywhere else. So definitely make sure you get there early enough that you can check out the gift shop. The mission of Japanese grandma is to feed the customer's body and soul with fresh ingredients the way that grandma would. The owner is driven for excellence in food and experience. So it's a really great place to eat. My 2 favorite items at Japanese grandma, ahi poke wonton tacos. Super unique, and I bet it sounds delicious, and it actually is delicious. They also have great sushi, lots of different kinds. You can look at the menu online. Fresh, it's Japanese. If you're vegetarian, there's great options for you. I definitely recommend it, both in terms of culinary options and the experience. Japanese grandma has won a lot of culinary awards, and they're definitely a highlight in the culinary scene on Kauai. Now, these ones didn't make the top 4 for a number of reasons, but they're good enough that I wanted to bring them up in this video. Midnight Bear Breads, which is also in Hanapepe. It has excellent bread, which you can buy at several different farmer markets around the island, so you don't necessarily have to drive to Hanapepe to get it. You can pre-order it and schedule it to pick up at the farmer markets where they deliver. If you want some really incredible bread on Kauai, definitely check out Midnight Bear Breads and order it online. Kalaheo Cafe, it's great for breakfast and lunch. Super busy, definitely a local favorite. You're going to get the macadamia nut pancakes or whatever else you want, but it's a great local favorite. Red Salt, which is a restaurant in the Kauai Resort in Kaloa. You know, it's one of these boutique resorts on the sand. Their restaurant is really great. I definitely recommend it. Keoki's Paradise, which is in the old Poipu Mall. It's just a favorite. It's like the Disneyland restaurant on Kauai. big menu. People of all ages will like it. You know, you're like eating in a tropical paradise. It's super cute, great food, reasonable prices. My last honorable mention is the Crack Mexican Grinds. It's a little hole in the wall across the street from the Kukui'ula Shopping Center, but it's great food. It's a local favorite. Definitely attractive prices for Kauai, and just a good place to get some great food. We have great eating options on all parts of Kauai, but these ones are good enough that if you're staying on the North Shore or the East Side, they're worth the drive, right? So if you're a foodie coming to Kauai, these are definitely places you want to check out. If you want more tips about your upcoming trip to Kauai or Kauai real estate, please remember to like and subscribe.